come back into
Yeah,
general session, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, let me just.
Wait a minute. Well, wait for I get the camera going.
Okay, it should be good now. So,
Good?
Yeah,
All right, so we already made the motion to come out of executive session,
okay.
right? And so now I'll make a motion that we come back into the regular session. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we're back in regular session. All right, so by the unanimous vote, the board agreed for an across-the-board 3% increase in salaries. And we maintain the same medical plan as we had for this year. Anything else we discussed in the executive session that you mentioned?
No.
No other motions were taken. Okay. Okay, so with that, I'll be closed with the budget. What do I do? I make a motion that we we accept this budget that we'll bring forward to the public hearing next week.
Sure.
I'll make a motion that this is the budget we're going to bring to the public hearing on April 12th for public hearing as well as then board vote of the budget. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That covers the budget. Next topic I want to talk about is the Bennett Park pump station. Okay, so the story is this. You know, we need to replace the pump station and add a generator, right, up there at Bennett Park. We had gone to the bank last year and gotten a $400,000 bond from the bank. $150,000 was supposed to go toward the retaining wall, and $250,000 went into the sewer fund for the replacement of the pump station and addition of a generator. That was based on an estimate we had from Delaware of about $210,000 to the job, throwing 20% as a contingency and cost increases between then and when we could get the job done. That's how I got the $250,000. We, Deputy Mayor and I went to Senator Hinchy and Assembly Member Barrett, asked if they wouldn't allow us to apply to get member money from them to the tune of $125,000 each to do that. We did it. They accepted it. We're in the process of getting the application through the appropriate state agencies that allow us to get that money. $125,000 through the Senator's office, $125,000 through the Assembly Member's office. And we said before, reimbursement of us once we've done the job. Okay. Timeline.
Appropriate into DASI, and then DASI will contract with us. To
Yes. And right now, Sarah and I are working on the application requirements for DASI. Okay. So that's moving along. Progressive. It's not official yet. And actually, the offices of the Senator and the Assembly Member asked that they be the ones that announce it once it's been fully approved. So it's we're talking about, we're working on it. It's going to happen. All indications are. As part of the process, I asked Delaware to go back and itemize in more detail the estimates of not only the hardware but also the implementation. Implementation requires us to remove a lot of what's out there now, put in the new stuff, and get it all hooked up, all right? Including rearranging the way it's set up, put a security fence around it, it's not there today, that kind of stuff. That's going to be part of the part. Right? So we itemized it. The cost came in at $313,000. Now, there's a contingency in there, so it's probably not gonna be that bad, but that's what we gotta deal with. The second thing is, so that would be a situation where we've got a $250,000 bond sitting there. We could put the money up front if we funded the other $63,000 with fund balance, and to get reimbursed later with the 2 times 125. However, DASNY says you can't use a bank loan. You need to use a bond anticipation note. Okay. A short
Can't
term.
use a bond.
Yeah, you can't use a bond. You need to use a bond anticipation note.
Who says that?
DASNY, the people who are approving our application. Do you know why?
Oh, were you explaining that it's how they have the money to the grants?
I explained that?
I want to say they
Oh, Vicky, you know.
The only thing I can figure, because my private clients didn't bond money out, they did short-term loans, so it didn't come up, but I think it's because DASNY uses bond money
yeah.
to pay us. And maybe there's some conflict with us having bond
Okay.
money for the short term. I don't know.
That's a good answer for me. The bottom line is, what we want to do is we want to apply for a ban from the banks for a 1-year ban of $325,000 in order for us to be able to play in this game, the rules that they give us. Okay. So we want to do tonight a resolution.
You wanna let me or allow me
I want to authorize you.
Yeah, authorize me to solicit bank rates.
Right, so she goes out to different banks in the area and asks, are you interested in a 1-year ban of $325,000? And they'll say, yes, and here's the rate. And we'll pick the bank who's got the best rate. And we do that, hopefully it'll be for a year. Of course, a ban you can roll over for up to 7 years. That's not our intention here. This is like a 1-year ban.
They may have different specs that you have to roll it into long-term debt based on,
The bank?
no, DASB,
Oh, they
but
have-
based on when the project's completed.
All right.
Did you receive my email about Bob Smith, the bond?
Yeah, the bond counsel.
You wanna authorize, bond counsel as well?
Do we need bond counsel for this? So we were told by EFC that this is a separate topic. The long-term wastewater treatment plant up there we're talking about, the $7 to $8 million, they say we need a bond counsel to work with New York State if we ever got that grant.
Not the grant. We ever got the short term
Oh, the short-term, right.
loans with them.
Yeah, okay, right. So that's what they would need a bond counsel for. Do we need to do that now, or?
No, I guess when you establish that project,
Yeah,
you
I'd rather
probably,
wait till we do that.
yeah, you should probably have a financial advisor and bond counsel.
And by the way, I asked NICOM, do they have a list of, and they said no, they don't recommend specific people. So the name you gave us is one that you're familiar with. It's not like a good name we can start the
I
process.
know bond counsel too.
Oh, you do?
Locally, yeah.
Oh, really, local?
In Paul.
Because this one's in Albany, I think, right?
No, he's in Long Island.
Oh, Long Island.
I'll check.
Okay,
make
fine.
sure, and I'll get back to you guys. Let you know.
And while you're checking, can you find out how they get paid?
Okay.
Is it a, is it
It's a fee, it's usually like,
a fee per?
like $7,500 for
When
the,
you close on the bonds.
Is that right?
Right, I
and
think,
they do all the
Okay,
kind of legal stuff.
all right.
so it's not an hourly, so.
Okay, but again, that's for the wastewater treatment plant, the big project. Let's set that aside.
Okay.
What we're trying to do here is to fund a ban for the replacement of the sewer pump installation of the generator out there at Bennett Park. All right, so what do I want? I want to make a motion to authorize Sarah to go to the banks to request rates for a 1-year ban.
Can I
Of
just ask a
$325,000,
question
yes.
before we do that? So, do we have the new specs, like in terms of timing, when we get the loan rates? Because I know everything's, moving. Are we anywhere near ordering?
Yeah, the bids are supposed to come in, April 15th?
So we already have the new bid documents,
I'm sorry?
we already have the new bids out.
Yes, they're out for bid.
Consideration.
And by the way, before we accept the bid, I'm going to close with DASNY and say, hey, by the way, it's an emergency, we need to do this now. I wanna make sure I'm not jeopardizing anything by proceeding to order.
Right, we
This
have to
piece of
know when
equipment.
their
Yes,
deadlines are.
yeah, and preliminary I was told you shouldn't have a problem with that, but check with us first. So I will do that, because I don't wanna get stuck out there in purgatory.
Right, when you order,
Yeah.
they will know.
Yeah.
And they will tell us.
And I'll make sure that they're okay with that being the proper time. Okay, so I made a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now, the timeline will be something like this. How long will it take you to get that out and get feedback from the banks?
I can get that out right away, and then, I had already typed up a letter for Monday to get rates.
Now, can that be something we can have discussion at the board meeting on the 12th? Or is that too
Provided
late?
I get the rates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the objective, the target will be to try to get feedback for the next week's work. Okay.
So Delaware said it's could increase to 310,
313, yeah.
313.
Yeah.
And that'll go out to bid at that point, or?
No, so it's going out to bid anyway, and at that time we'll find out really what is the cost of the hardware we're talking about. There's two bids, one is for the pump station, the other is for the generator. All right. And the idea is we're going to do almost all of the installation, refit in-house between VRI and our highway guys. And Delaware's going to do a little bit of that.
And the 250 we took out already, or
Yeah.
was that a ban?
That was a bond.
We took out a bond.
400.
Remember that was a 400, we broke 150 for the retaining wall, 250
Yeah.
for the.
So what are we gonna do with that? That 250 that we don't.
That, we're gonna have that first to pay some, intermediate bills, but then when we get all done with that, we will have something, maybe 250 minus 63, right? 313 minus 250, 63, we'll have to take out of there. The remainder, we're gonna talk about what's the next thing on the list of wastewater things that we should be going after.
So how much was the retaining wall in total? Because didn't we already
300,000.
It was that high?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 144 from the
ARPA
federal
money, which we
American
hadn't
Refuge
back.
Fund, and 150 from the bond. And we spent, I'm gonna say 294 is probably it. I think there's like $2,500
There's
left.
a little left, but I think that's for the plantings.
Yeah, right, actually today, contact came back, and working landscaping the property, the owner's property, Peter's parents' property there, in front of the retaining wall, this issues they had there. They were there in mass when I went there this morning, so.
So is the contractor fixing it, or do we have to?
They were fixing it, they said they would do it, I'll be able to see it.
Well, I just wanted to know if they owned up to it.
Yeah. They
And
did
that
not
was also
know that.
something Delaware was supposed to make happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I want to get the customer satisfied first, and we'll talk about the funding first, or later. Okay.
Right.
And that's happening now. Today, either finish today or finish tomorrow.
Have we ever floated like a pilot or anything similar with the new Bennett 501c3?
What we were pilot?
Like payment in lieu of taxes?
Yeah. I did. And George said, no. He said that, very nicely, he said, we are doing such good for the, whatever the
Community
village,
at large, yeah,
that
right.
you really shouldn't ask me for a pilot. And I couldn't really argue with that.
Yeah,
But
I
I did have a
like
discussion.
still asking though.
No, I did have a discussion, yeah. Next time you can ask.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I just said to him, I just can't not ask you.
Yeah, no, okay, great, perfect,
All right.
thank you.
All right, so any other questions or comments about that? Everybody understands the game plan we got going on here? It's kind of like juggling, putting some things in the air. At the end of the day, we're gonna get $250,000 of help from the state that we previously were gonna pay for ourselves. So it's super good.
The only question I have is there any restrictions on these arrangements in terms of when we will be able to accept the money? Like, is it limited in any way by fiscal years, like?
No,
No?
and there's a recognition that it may take a year for us to get the money.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
what I mean.
So, I'm not in any problem with that.
Okay.
It's not like the rescue money where they want the injection kind of thing.
Okay, so if we go with that?
Just real quick.
Yeah.
So the increase from to 313, is it because like the fence and extra stuff they didn't know about, or cost increases, or things we didn't account for in the
I
original?
will send you all the detailed breakout of how they got to 313. Let me tell you this, before that, they didn't have the detail. Right? I will also tell you that they're not really sure of the costs, the prices, all right? So it may come in lower. And, this is what they threw in the contingency like they always do, all right? I'll send you that tomorrow, just the detailed breakdown of how they got the 313. But they never did that kind of detail before. Okay. Before I was told they got to number 207. I'll remember that one. It was like 100 for the one, 100 for the other, and throw on 20%.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was like the hardware plus this.
Yeah. So those are like guesstimates. Now it's the specific line by line thing, which I needed to be able to make the application. Okay.
I think going forward, we should require that from them.
Yeah.
up front.
Right.
And the problem we're dealing with is an economy that doesn't seem to have any kind of predictability about it.
Yeah. Sure.
When we went to try to ask Ready Engineering last year for an estimate of what it's gonna cost to do phase one, their initial estimate was $112,000.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then by the time you and I embellished it by figuring out we gotta plant trees, we have to do this, we were figuring it was probably closer to 130.
Yeah.
And now that we looked at the numbers almost a full year later, it's up to 175. So by the time we actually get this out to bid, who knows what someone's gonna bid the price for.
Sure.
And the last time we did a project like this in 2017, there were estimates to do the intersection at the church, and that ran all the way from $45,000 to $80,000 for exactly the same job, which exactly the same
Okay.
thing. So
It's just hard to anticipate that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So you take the best shot at the
my
time.
point.
And you accept the fact that inflation is increasing prices. I mean, even the generator, it's a long lead time item. So,
So we haven't ordered that yet.
no. Again, that's the bid we will accept
Yeah.
end of the middle of April. And then I don't know what happens. I mean, with the tennis courts, remember they couldn't do the job until the following season or something. They threw on top of an inflation factor on us, which I don't want to argue. We had the money, it wasn't a big thing. It was there.
Surcharge.
This shouldn't be as complicated, because we're ordering equipment and we're doing work.
Right.
It's
Hopefully
a
it's
lot
more
more
good control.
complicated than
I'm
that.
actually hoping the 313 has some pattern that we're not going to pay the whole thing, but I don't know. I'm just excited about it. So we're all set with the ban. One of the things on my mind I just want to talk about. This is a question, Peter, you asked about in light of the failure of the two banks. Are we protected? And when Peter first asked me that question, my initial gut was, well, the way we have it structured right now, there's really just two accounts that are a problem. A general fund and a cash fund. However, I was wrong there, because when I read into this, turns out, no. We as the Village of Norfolk have, 30 accounts. They're all up together. And only the total is insured by FDIC. That's why I went to see George to say, okay, so what's the story with this? How are we protected? And I think I sent you all the email, but let me just go through to make sure there's no questions about that. His response back is, by state law, he has to collateralize all the monies that we have dedicated for municipal operations. And so for not only just the village, but also for the town, he described it, maybe Karen can help me with the wording here, he has, at a separate bank location, assets equivalent to or greater than the assets that encompass the total of our accounts. Okay. Such that if for some reason his bank ever had a run and failed, we would be made whole. Karen, could you just expand on that?
Wilmington. So we do get statements from Wilmington on that collateralization.
From who?
Wilmington is who
Oh, is that right?
is the third party.
I didn't know that.
And then usually at the end of the year or periodically, we check, add up all the accounts and make sure that we have enough collateral. So we do, that is part of our end of the year report to make sure that we have enough collateral.
All right, fine.
And it's 1 for 1? Dollar for dollar?
I think so, yeah.
Actually, George says what he does is there's a buffer. Because, we got ins and outs, right? Come June 1st, when people are paying their taxes, we pick up another $1 million. So he actually has quite a lot more than actually where a typical operating is. Yes, we have to make sure there's a guardrail there that's fully covered at all times. And it's true for all of the other municipalities that he's responsible for.
And we don't have, that's a state law?
State, yeah.
So we don't have like an agreement with them, it's the law that's...
It's the law, but we have a totally separate bank. We get the statement from Wilmington showing our collateral. So we can, every month we could add, if we wanted to, we could add up all of our accounts and make sure that we have more collateral than all those add up to, but,
He claims he's got a group that does that.
so.
I
that's
don't know how
good.
often they do it.
That's great. We just, when we do the annual report, that's part of what we do, is make sure that
Oh, okay, fine.
we show that we have enough collateral for the cash.
All right.
For the,
But he claims it's on him, on his bank, to show that that's, meets audit requirements. All right?
I didn't know it was a state law, so I mean, that makes me feel better, I guess. I mean, I
Sounds like they report it
didn't
to guarantee it.
realize that at all. It
Yeah, I
seems
didn't
like.
either. You okay with that? Yeah. I mean, the reality is, you see what's going on when there is a bank run. You know, the psychological impact of that replicated across the banking industry is such that the government steps in to stop it. I mean, this time, you know, when Silicon Valley Bank fell, they reimbursed the people who had money in there. They didn't reimburse the stockholders of the bank.
Yeah.
It was different when they did in 2008. So there was some level of pain and anguish associated with those who owned stock in it. But the people who had accounts there were all made whole. And I can't see a situation where they let that change in the future either. But that's just a backstop to a backstop. All right?
And a lot of it has to do with the federal laws that are on the books now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
going back to 2008, with the Frank Todd Act and those acts that they made the banks.
I think a lot of it's just the psychology of, you know, when a bank takes your money, they don't let it sit there to take it and invest it. You know, this collateralization thing.
Right.
And that's how they make money. And so, you know, if everyone who's got a savings account went to any bank and said, I want my money, there's a problem.
If they close everybody's mortgage
Yeah.
that they've now given money to have,
Right.
to buy a house.
So part of the
buy a
banking industry
car.
based on the fact that people have the confidence that if they needed the money, it's there, but they don't need to go and check it every day.
And
Frank
it's not in
Dodd's,
the bank.
Yes.
yeah, Frank Dodd started Signature Bank, the other bank that went down.
Oh, is that right? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay, that's all I have to discuss. Is that true, Sarah? I'm not.
With the server and the.
Okay. So I do want to get the board approval to allow us to move into this budget, the replacement of the server, the initiation of the HayGov, and what was the third? Oh, and the windows for the
Windows
firehouse.
in the firehouse.
Oh, by the way, before we go there, so one thing is, Peter, you asked last time, what about a
Cloud-based.
cloud base? All right. And so we did check with Jesse from NetEffects, who was our IT source. And what he said is that basically the main thing that we do, you know, the servers, we have hardware connected within the office, we have a firewall, and then we go out into the World Wide Web. Okay. And right now, Enhanced is the financial system we use for all of our budgeting, for all of our operating expense reports, for the AUD. Right. There is no cloud version of Enhanced available today. They sell single licenses, which is downloaded to our servers. All right. And that's really one of the most important things we have our system set up to maintain is our financial system. And so, given that, then if we wanted to go cloud, we would have to actually do our own cloud build, which is port our stuff out to the cloud, including Enhanced, and then download it to the internet, everything we're using. And it just is not. It would be a big architectural change. It just isn't something we could, at this point, feel comfortable doing. Because again, if the internet goes down, then we're SOL. Okay. So not until Enhanced, goes to a cloud-based solution, do I think it's realistic for us to pursue such. And that's why, based on Jesse's recommendation to us, we simply replace the servers that we have today. Okay. I mean, this, from an Enhanced point of view, if they were cloud-based, then their updates would be simply update the cloud, and then everyone, next time you go check it, by your license, you would get the latest. Yes. So
It's still operating like that.
Huh?
That seems so antiquated. I'm surprised.
Well, but that's, I guess, more the way they've been doing it. So that it's a step, I guess, to go to the next step. And so right now, it's basically a download to us every time it's a change. Okay, that's what we do. So based on that, then we are pursuing a server replacement. Sarah's checked into a couple of options, and we have one which is is it HP or Dell?
It's
Dell, all right, replacement we have today, in the range of like $5,000, $5,300, something like that. And, you know, the processor, of course, is faster, it's not a big concern of us. It does have 3 times the storage, from 5 terabits to 15 terabits, which is right now good because we're using about 5 terabits for storage today, but we have on the web, you know, all of our archived information.
When you say that was 15?
Yeah, this is going to 15. No, I'm sorry. It's going to
Gigabytes.
4.
Yeah.
It's going to 4.
4 terabytes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the DRAM is.
We have 1 current. And
We have
we're
one?
almost at,
Yeah.
we're almost at actually.
Okay, so we're going from 1 to 4, my fault.
Storage.
Storage,
Storage.
yes. Yeah. And the other characteristics, when we looked at the options available, like the latest and greatest, the most expensive one, it's got a better processor. And, you know, for those of us who are playing games and things, that might be beneficial for us doing financial stuff. It's really not about.
I wish it was a game. It's not.
No,
It's a game, but it's not fun.
It's not.
No. All right, and Sarah, you looked at this. This was what NetFX came back to us.
Correct.
You also went and looked for the state bid.
Yep, I went to the state and theirs was like $2,000 or $3,000 more.
Yeah.
And that does not include install. So
Okay.
with install, it's like $6,000, $65, something like that,
Okay.
for NetFX. And then I went through Dell themselves to try to find something comparable, and that was like $8,000 or $9,000. So this
Okay. All right. So I made a motion for us to approve moving those 3 items in: the server, PayGov, and Windows. Can I get a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, good. Thanks. Anything else, Sarah?
I believe that's it.
I want to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all very much. Popular motion, that's right. All right, now what about the pizza? I don't want to be taking home pizza, so does anyone want to take some to their family and friends?
I make a motion. No.
Yeah.
Any firemen downstairs on
Well, I
that?
was gonna say, if nobody wants it, you can just put it in the freezer here.
Okay, so Fritz.
Someone will eat it. It's not gonna go to waste.
All right, so take whatever y'all want.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for the pizza.
You're very
Yes,
welcome.
thank you. That was very nice.
Tim, do you have a minute to talk to the rescue squad?
Sure. Do it right now?
Yeah.
It's April 13th for the bid opening.
Okay,
At
good.
1:30.